Holy going down that backwards is no joke. No joke. Siam Park was voted the best water park in the whole world for 6 years running, and it's going to be hard to argue against it. You've got everything you need there. It feels quite modern, but it also feels fun. The rides are big, and if you've ever been to another water park, whether it be in Europe or around the world, this one feels a little bit like a cut above the rest. This video will explain why, if you're in Tenerife, it's an absolutely must visit, and how to get the most out of your day spent in Siam Park. So we've just come out to Siam Park for the day, and we've got a rental car, so we needed to find parking, and then as we drove past the main entrance, there's no parking there, which I imagine, to be honest, goes pretty quick. There's not a ton of parking, and if you drive past it and drive down the hill about 150 meters on the right, you'll find all day parking, and it's €4, so it's not too bad of a deal, to be honest. So this is how busy the normal car park gets. The park opens at 10 in the morning and it shuts at 6 in the evening. And on Fridays and Saturdays during the summer, you've got a night pass or a night kind of ticket that gets you in from 8 PM to midnight, and it's exclusively for over 18s. You've got things like music and drinks, etc. We actually went in the day though, and instead of getting there at 10, so we didn't queue up, we got there around about half 11, 12. It did mean that we were a little bit later, so we had less time in the park, but we didn't plan to sit down, chill out, get a sunbed or anything like that. So we still did make the most of it, and we didn't stop from the time we got in there. We were on ride after ride, back to back, literally until 6 PM when it closed. So we just got in Siam Park. 2 people works out at €80, so it's €40 per adult. The tickets to get in are €40 per adult, but you can pay an extra €18 per person to get a fast pass ticket. And a fast pass ticket basically means you get to skip the line of every single one of the big main rides just once, but then at the end of it, you get an additional one on any one of your choice. And to be honest, that works out at around about €2 per skip the line. And if it's super busy and you've got lines and queues that take around about 45 minutes, I would say it's definitely worth it. This is the one we just went on. You got 4 people in that. It was us and then 2 others, and you basically have to stack your legs over and under and just hope for the best, really. One of them's pitch black, so you have no idea. And the other one, you nearly do a backflip each corner, but they are good. For us, some of the lines were around about 20 minutes, 30 minutes. Our longest wait was 45, but then there was a couple of times we didn't queue at all, and we literally just went straight to the top of the line. This queue's a little more like it. Having the fast pass though was definitely worth it for that price, because it does mean that you can get more done in less time, especially if you're planning to go later. So as it happened, on that one, you can't take the camera down. So when I got to the top, they made me leave it there. And it was a bit more intense than what I thought. But anyways, when I was at the top, I left it there and hopped on. We went down, but because I left it at the top, I had to push past everyone in the queue to get back to the top, thinking I'd have to walk back down the queue. But when I got up there, they said, oh, I can just ride again for free and just hop on. So I just pushed the queue and just been on twice back to back. That is sick. It's a bit intense, I'm not gonna lie. We're double downing on this one because there's no queue, so back to back. That ride is about 5 times more, I don't know the word, scary, intense, petrifying than what it seems when you walk up. They only have a limited amount of the fast pass tickets. So for example, because we got there later, they had none left of the earliest slot, but we got one that kicked in at 2 o'clock till 6. So we still had 4 hours to use it, and that was why we queued up for 45 minutes for one of the rides, because our fast pass hadn't come into effect yet because it wasn't 2 o'clock. If you don't have a fast pass and you really don't feel like waiting for queuing up for a ride, even though we went in the school summer holidays, which you would expect to be the busiest time of the year, we found some queues to be like 45 minutes or 30 minutes, and then we walked to another one and there was no queue at all. So do have a little look around, and if there's rides close by and there's one extra long queue, maybe check them first because you might be lucky like we were. There's lockers everywhere in the park and they come at quite a cheap price. So if you're taking your valuables, don't worry about it. We took ours with us and we just whacked it in the locker all day. You might want to think about footwear. The floor is hot. My feet were burning, so I needed to go get some water shoes. Lucky I'd brought mine with me. You can buy some there on site too, but it might just be worth taking either some sliders, some flip-flops, or just taking some water shoes so you can keep them on. Every single ride at Siam Park is so much fun, and some are slightly better than others, but generally speaking, across the board, they're all really, really good. One thing is they've got a scoring system of green, amber, and red. Green being the most tame, amber being the middle one, and red being a bit more intense. The dragon is not for the faint-hearted. I'm glad that's over. What we actually found was red and orange were kind of similar, but they're all good fun. And I'm someone who gets quite nervous and anxious about these things, and used to as a kid always back out and find an excuse, but nowadays I'll just go on them even whilst I'm feeling nervous, and every single time afterwards you just think that was so much fun and it was a good laugh. The only two exceptions to the rides we went on maybe not being as good as the others was one, the lazy river. It was super crowded. It was a bit boring, a bit slow. I don't know what we expected, but it was just a little bit underwhelming. And I think with the amount of people in there, you couldn't really get up any speed. You kept bashing into people, and it was just like the most crowded thing I've ever actually been in, which was a bit of a surprise. The number two was the only ride all day that let me film with the GoPro. That's why I've got no footage of being on the actual rides. And the problem was it was pitch black, which is cool, but because you don't see where you're going, and it was chucking us around, it was basically like 15 seconds of whiplash, which I'll show you now. Even though there's no film or it's pitch black, the audio's there and you'll be able to see the start to finish, and you'll be able to hear the middle as well.
Oh, you wanted to be in it? Wow. Oh my God. Oh my God.
We thought that was a casual, it was horrible. That was a jungle snake. Pitch black, getting whipped about everywhere. Oh. And even though that wouldn't be up there with our favourite ride, because it was a bit eventful and a bit funny, I wouldn't change it, and looking back, it's a good laugh now. But overall, the rides are really good, and just, they're a cut above anything that I've been on in any water park previously. And that is a wrap for the rides. Last one done. That was a good day. Them rides, to be honest, there's not one that is that calm. Everyone's good, everyone's suitable for everything. The only thing I would say is, if you're taking a GoPro or whatever like I am, some of them is quite difficult to carry, so either have deep pockets or sit on it in the ones that you can. And finally, whatever you do, if you go to Tenerife and you haven't been to Siam Park yet, make a day of it. You won't regret it, you'll love it, you'll have so much fun, and you'll just make good memories there. Hopefully this video has been useful if you plan to go, and if it has, please give it a like, comment down below, or subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.